When you're looking at seniors in kayaking, I would be remiss if I didn't also include a discussion of how to transport your kayak by SUV and truck from your house to the water. Stay tuned. No matter what type of kayak you buy as a senior, you're going to have to get it from your house to the water. And I'm going to assume that there's really only three options. You have an SUV, you have a truck with a bed, and you have a trailer. Well, trailer is easy. I'm not really going to cover that. You just put it on the trailer, you get it off the trailer. But there's some tricks to hauling a kayak on an SUV and a truck. And I'm going to integrate two videos I did earlier to show you those two options. Let's get going. SUV first. Putting a 70-pound kayak on top of an SUV by yourself is simple if you have a key piece of equipment. You need a rug with a rubberized back with normal material on top. All you do is put the rubberized section down at the edge of the SUV, and that protects it from being scratched. You could also put another small piece of carpet at the left edge of the kayak to protect it from the concrete as you raise the kayak and lean it on top of the section of rug. Then it's just a matter of picking up the other end, sliding it across the carpet, protecting your paint from scratching, and aligning it on your kayak carrier on top. Easy, simple, and a one-man operation. This is a steep boat launch. Look at this. And if I take this heavy kayak and roll it off the back of my truck, the stern is going to bounce hard against this concrete and cause all sorts of scrapes. In addition, think about how hard it's going to be to get this back up on the bed of my truck. I'm pushing 100 pounds uphill back onto my truck. And when you look at the distance I've got to lift it based on the slant, it's about 32 inches to the bed of my truck. So this is a losing proposition for either loading or unloading. Let me show you an easier way to do it. Instead of pulling in rear first like you would normally expect, pull in front first. Now when I pull the kayak off, it's a much shorter distance to get to the ground. My wheels will hit, so I can pull this out, it's level, and then I can slide it back on easily. See how much easier that is? And now when I lift it up, it also goes on easier. And now I got to get out of the way because there's boats coming. Here's another couple tricks on unloading a heavy kayak like this Jackson Cruiser that weighs over 100 pounds. The first thing you need to do is control how it goes off the tailgate of your truck, because once all the weight gets down towards the bottom and on the Boondocks wheels, the whole thing tends to just slide right off the tailgate. So here's my solution to that. The key to controlling the boat to make sure it doesn't slip off before you're ready is to grab a carabiner and pop that around your front handle. Now if the boat slides back, it's going to catch on the handle here and it won't come off, and now your boat is under control for the next step in the unloading process. So now I've got the kayak supported on the tailgate by that cord that I've hooked to my front handle. But now the problem is getting it down to the ground smoothly. I mean, these things are hard to get a hold of, and you're not really strong enough unless you've got huge guns, you know, maybe like Steve Sharon on the Adventure Outdoors channel has, to be able to grab that front handle, lift it up, and then roll it off. And this is also a problem when you're putting the kayak back on the truck. So what I've done is I've run a piece of paracord through one of my scupper holes, attach it with a carabiner, and put a little handle on here with PVC. Now I can pull up undo the front carabiner and then slowly lower this down under control. Putting it back on is the exact opposite. All I've got to do is grab my front handle, grab the cord, and now it's very easy to lift this up and push it back onto the kayak. And to hold it here while I go grab the rear, I can hook that front carabiner back on the front handle. So there's one more thing to discuss in terms of how I load my kayak. After I take off my boondocks and put those in the bed of my truck, I've still got an issue with the way the kayak fits in the bed of my truck. This is a 12.5-foot kayak and my bed is only a little over 7 feet. I don't like the rear of my kayak hanging out that much, and based on the shape of the hull, it sits kind of cockeyed, and I like the ride level so I get a smooth ride. So here's what I did. I got a couple 2x4s, and what I do is I pull these out, and that'll give me an extra foot, the extra foot I need to rest on top of my kayak. And now what I'll do is I'll shove these up under, but I've got a problem once I do that. I'll show you just in a sec. So you can see I've pulled these two 2x4s out, about a foot on each side, but what I found out is as the boat rattles, as it moves down the road, these tend to get pushed out. So what I've done is I've got another short cord here attached to a carabiner, and what I'll do is I'll use that to attach these two 2x4s, and now they won't spread apart. And my boat will stay nice and level, which contributes to an easy ride and a secure ride as we go down the road. In addition to having them tied on the front, I've also got a cord here through another couple eyes that will keep these from sliding all the way off my truck. And that way I know everything is secure. So there we go. Those are my loading and unloading tips for a heavy kayak. This is the result of my trial and error, and hopefully you won't have the mistakes I made as I tried to figure out the safest and best way to transport this kayak. However, as with everything, the safe transport and lock-in of your kayak is really up to you, and you got to evaluate your kayak, your truck, and how you're going to lock it in to make sure you don't have any accidents. So be safe, think it through, and make sure your kayak is firmly secured to the bed of your truck. That wraps up the topic of transport. Hope that was useful to you, and have a good day on the water. Comments? Throw it down below. Thanks.